Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me and have this interview. I know you're busy, so I appreciate your time.
This is the best time.
Okay, perfect. So just a background as to what I'm doing. So I'm taking a module called Introduction to Family Business. And pretty much I'm supposed to interview a family business and write a report on that. So essentially your business is going to be the center and focus of my project. And to achieve this, I just have a few questions that will help me cover the necessary parts, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you're saying family business, you mean ones that obviously my parents started.
Exactly.
Okay. So
yeah. So do you have multiple or do you have just one?
It's more like multiple. It's like three companies. Yeah. Three companies that were started way before we were even born.
Okay.
Like in 1994.
And which one are you mostly involved in? Because I think it might be better to focus on one business.
I'm based on one business called Energy and Telecoms.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. And so who founded the business and in what year was that business founded?
It was my dad in 1994.
Okay. Perfect. So the business was started in 1994. And do you know what inspired the founding of the business in itself?
It's more like what founded what inspired him to do that is just him having an entrepreneur personality, more of like a entrepreneur nature, because he used to do multiple businesses at once.
Yeah.
So also his passion for tech products and energy products.
Okay, perfect. And can you go a little bit into the kind of services you guys provide and what your typical customers look like?
Basically, it's an energy procurement company.
Okay.
So basically, customers would be the government, would be private companies.
Okay, so the government and private companies, those are your typical customers.
Yeah.
And
so basically, it's an energy company. It's an energy procurement company. So basically, we supply machines that help transformers. We supply Tanesco.
Okay.
We supply Wi-Fi network machines to like companies like CL.
Okay.
So it's basically everything based on energy. Yeah, so the main customer would be the government.
Okay.
Because the government wouldn't be able to source all these items, but also private companies are customers too. Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting. And in your opinion, how has the industry that you're in changed from when you started? Obviously, it's a tech company as well, and I'm sure there's a lot to talk about on there.
What has changed is in the past, like when my dad was doing, or when he founded it in the first place, like we never had, the competition was very low.
Okay.
Because, in a sense that procurement systems did not exist. So you could just call someone, let's say you want to supply Tanesco, you can just call one of the managers and be like, yo, I have these machines, I have these printers, can we sell it to you at this price? And can you lobby or can you just talk to your boss to make sure we supply this to you guys? So it's like there was no procurement system where there was no fair bidding. Now it's more competitive where the playing ground is leveled. So even you can start an energy company and bid at the same level as we're bidding, as long as you have the capital and the means to supply it. It's more of like whoever has the best price, it's more competitive and it's more fair in terms of competing for these big energy contracts.
Yeah.
But in the past, in our dad's time, It used to be easier for him because it was more of like one phone call, and companies lacked capital, lacked access to bid. It was more of like who you know.
Right.
Then now it's more of like there's a whole procurement system where you have to bid, you have to submit your papers, you have to be legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the technology part of bidding in procurement has changed. Yeah.
Okay. And
made it more competitive. Yes.
Okay.
And fair for everyone else.
Okay, that's very interesting. And so back into the background, how many generations have been involved in the business so far?
Oh, so basically it's been two if you count my dad. So it's been my dad, then it comes to me and my brother.
Okay.
So it's been 2 decades. It's been two. So it's because it's been 3 decades since it started. So it's been only 2 generations. Him, then us.
Okay. All right. And who is currently leading the business right now?
Oh, my brother.
Okay. So
I'm more like behind the scenes.
Okay.
Or like helping out. Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys have specific family traditions, values, or cultural factors that influence the way that your business is run?
Oh yeah, we do, because like since it's a family business, the main aim is not to make a single person extremely wealthy or successful or rich. The main aim is to empower the family. So anything that the company makes, it's being reflected towards our family lifestyle.
Okay.
So as long as the family is, so the tradition we have is we don't have singularities or we don't have individuality in terms of running it. It's more of like any outcome is more dispersed to the family expenses or family well-being. So that's the culture we have.
Okay.
So in case, instead, like in a situation where, regardless of how much money it makes, it all goes to the family, so it doesn't really matter. So that's the custom we have.
Okay, so it's a collective effort rather than it being...
it's a collective effort.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Although a lot of individual effort from my brother, drives it, but the outcome is very collective.
Okay.
It's 99% collective. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. And can you list for me the family members that are actively involved and their roles? So, I assume your brother, what role does he have?
He's the CEO of the company.
Okay. Right.
I am a finance officer at the company and an auditor also.
Okay. So
and my mom.
You're the finance. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Finance officer and auditor of the company.
Okay. All right. And your mom?
My mom is like a non-executive director.
Okay.
Yeah, so she oversees everything.
Okay. And are these are the three of you pretty much run the whole thing, or do you have other employees as well? How does that work?
We have over 50 employees, yeah.
40
employees. 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have 40 employees, and then the three of you are obviously the ones who are at the top of everything. But do you have maybe managers or directors? How's the structure?
We do have directors who are my fellow siblings.
Okay.
Like my other 2 sisters are directors.
Okay.
Including myself.
Okay. All right.
But at the same time, we do have like 5 managers also. Yeah, 5 managers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, with the way that family businesses are run are kind of different to ordinary businesses. How do you guys make major business decisions? Like, do you do it, is it done by one person? Do you do it as a group? Or do you have meetings? And if you do...
We have meetings.
You have meetings?
Yeah,
Okay.
me, my dad, no, me, my mom, and my brother. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It used to be my dad and my brother, but my dad passed away. So it's me, my dad, me, my mom, and my brother. Yeah, us
Okay.
three.
Okay. My condolences, by the way.
Yeah.
So in your family business, what is kind of the philosophy about how you guys should work together? What kind of tone do you set for working together?
The tone we set to work together is having the same end goal and vision. Like once we all have the same end goal and vision, it's so easy to synchronize, or it's so easy to like collaborate and stuff. Because if my end goal is, let's say, if my end goal is to reach at Z, and my mom's end goal is to reach at F, and my brother's end goal is to reach at B, it's very hard to like sit down and come to end meets. Because I'm looking at Z, my mom's looking at F, someone's looking at B.
Yeah.
So if we all have an end goal to reach at Z, so it's easy to collaborate. So at the same time, to answer your question, I think the only way we can, the only philosophy we have is to focus on the end goal and focus on the past traditions of my dad who founded it. I learned from his mistakes because and everyone makes a couple mistakes.
Yeah, of course.
So learn from his mistakes, rectify them, and keep the same end goal.
Yeah. So in some way,
100% learn from his mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. In some way, you pretty much are trying to uphold the legacy that your
it's
father
more
has.
like a legacy thing because like what I strongly believe is we shouldn't be the beneficiaries of that. Like we shouldn't be solely the beneficiaries of this company because the goal should be like the philosophy we have is to go, because it started 30 years ago and the person who started it left and is still running. So we should keep the same thing going. So
Yeah.
The philosophy is to outlast us.
Yeah, right. And obviously, a lot of businesses don't have that. So for 30 years, I think that's...
Yeah. As soon as the founder dies, it dies.
Yeah, most of the time, that's right. Okay, and you said you guys have meetings. How regular do you have the family business meetings? Or how often, rather?
Oh, once a quarter.
Once a quarter, okay.
Yeah, so once every 4 months, once every 3 months, yeah.
Okay, all right. And I wanted to ask, are there any criterias for a family member to join? Because you've spoken about your other siblings as well. Did you guys have a criteria?
Criteria is there's not there is criteria. The criteria is as long as you're committed and you're driven to run the business, you'll join.
Okay. Yeah.
We can't we're strongly against handouts. Just because you're born in the family doesn't mean you should be entitled to the company.
Right.
So it's as long as you're working with the company, you should full time and pursuing it, then you're entitled to even a pay. Getting paid. So the criteria is commitment and being driven towards your position and growing it. We don't have all of my siblings that I mentioned that they're directors, but they don't get paid because they're not working for it. They're just directors on paper because that's how family businesses are, just to protect the paperwork.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And speaking of pay and compensation, for the family members that do get a sort of compensation, how is that determined? Do you guys have a policy? Maybe.
Oh yeah, as long as you work full time.
Okay.
Which is my brother and my mom. So they work full time, so they get compensated. Okay. Also, when it comes to compensation, there's a lot of things. Compensation for us goes in a wide spectrum because it doesn't have to be money. As long as your lifestyle is being funded by the company, that's enough compensation.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we have things like health insurance that's being paid by the company. So So that's entitled to us whether we work or not.
Yeah.
So that's a passive compensation, because if we went to health insurance, we'd be paying the bills. We're talking about it goes extension to even transport money like fuel.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of compensation is being done passively.
Okay.
The only people who get it actively, like actual income, like cash, are people working full time. But in terms of compensation, the whole family does get compensated.
Okay.
But passively. But the people who work full time, which is my mom and my brother, they get actively and passively because they are there on day basis.
Okay.
But as long as because like there's things like electrical bills, like staying at home.
Yeah.
So like those things that people oversee, like food, like so those things that you get, like just because you're born in a certain family, it's all that is being funded by the company. So that's being compensation. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And if there is conflict that arises between family members, how do you guys typically resolve them? How does that look like?
Within the company or outside?
Within the company, so within the business.
Within the company, that barely happens. But when we just vote it out most of the time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you typically just talk out your problems.
Yeah, just talk it out.
And that seems to work out well to resolve issues.
Yeah, it seems to work out. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just vote it out. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And the next part I want to ask is there a sort of succession plan for who will take over the business in the future? Do you guys kind of see maybe once your brother steps down, or is there any sort of succession plan for the future?
For now, that's hard to speculate because we're in our first ever succession.
Yeah.
That would be like that succession plan will obviously be ours, but as they grow, because like you can have a kid who be like, I want to be a pilot. You can have a kid who would be a terrible fit. Or so that succession plan for now there isn't, because we're in the first phase.
Right.
So we haven't thought about that. But
you just
for sure,
took it over from your dad, so it's fresh.
We just recently took it over.
Yeah. Okay. I see. And do you guys have, like, how is ownership of the business shared among the family members? Do you have shares, or how does that look?
Yeah, it's all shared. Yeah.
You have shares?
Yeah.
And do you typically reinvest your profits back into the business, or
100%.
Yeah,
like majority of the profits are being reinvested.
Yeah. Okay. And so for the shareholders, who are the shareholders? Is it everyone involved?
It's my mother, my brother, me.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm guessing, well, you said that you don't get compensated because you don't work full time, but they
I don't get actively compensated. I get passive.
Yeah. In that way. But I wanted to just ask if, like, then if that's typically reinvested. If that's if you offer dividends to the shareholders, but then
we don't offer dividends because we don't offer dividends because it's a family business, and the main function of the profits were to compensate the family lifestyle. So as long as it's doing that, there's no point of dividends.
Okay.
For us, because that's something my dad never did, and that's something I even strongly believe in. Unless you have an active investor who actually put in money.
Yeah,
that would make sense to give out dividends, or unless you're public, like IPO and stuff, like public trading, that would make sense. But for private companies, if you don't have an active investor and it's a family business, That's what I strongly believe, and that's what we have been doing. We don't, so dividends are not being given out. Yeah.
Okay.
To answer the question, yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Yeah.
And lastly, I just want to ask, do you guys have any sort of family business constitution of some sorts, like a business constitution that you know, everybody that joins the business or everyone that's actively part of it understands that this is kind of the things that you need to run by?
We don't actually, besides the basic memorandum that
Okay.
every company has.
Yeah.
That we actually, that we edit towards our favor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know, when you hire a lot of people, you need to make sure a memorandum is strong
Yeah.
in case of anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Because legal stuff do happen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's quite a big company with over 40 employees, so that is necessary. All right, so I will, as part of the work that I'm doing, I will, from what you've told me today, I'll try create a family business constitution.
Yeah.
And then I'm also required to give out amendments of some sort, which is really just after I analyze, or once I look back into everything, I will give my suggestions of some sort, which is not, I hope you understand what I mean. And then I'll share it back to you, the family constitution, together with the amendments. And then you can just look over it, see if that's something that you resonate with. If it's not really necessary to your business, you can also just let me know that, you know, all of that. I'm required to do that. This is what I'm saying, and I have to share it back to you.
I understand. Yeah.
So I'll do that. And then I also have one last request, if you don't mind. I need to certify that you guys are a legit, like you're a business. So I was wondering, do you have umbrella or a TIN number that I could be able to attach?
Yeah, I can send you the certificate of registration.
Okay, perfect. That would be perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the other legal docs. So.
Okay. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. This was very, very helpful. And I will keep in touch with you on everything.
So,
okay. Thank you so much, Obbrey. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks.